Welcome. This is Richard, and I want to welcome you to the Innovation Best Practices episodes, where every episode is designed to help you sell more and make more from your innovation program with proven and practical best practices. I really do try to make every single one of these episodes ones that can work for virtually any business and any business need. I want to give a special welcome to our listeners from around the world in at least 80 countries. Welcome. Good to have you here. Today's episode is focused on advice that a former senior Procter & Gamble executive made a few decades ago. His name is Richard Nicolosi, and he's a senior expert on the Innovate to Grow Experts team at i2ge.com and has been a friend for a couple of decades. So, let's see what kind of advice he shared. He shared this advice in a memo that he wrote about 30 years ago. And I was reviewing it and found it so relevant to today that I needed to share it with you. As I mentioned, he's a former P&G exec and a very important part of my team at i2ge. And he wrote his thoughts on innovation and the creative process, two separate memos that he wrote back about 30 years ago. His thoughts are as relevant today as they were 30 years ago. And when it came to the innovation points, he focused on 6 important innovation actions and a creative process to make significant improvements in the existing Procter & Gamble innovation system that was within his areas of responsibility, which were broad. His conclusions about what was needed for improved innovation are rather interesting. He acknowledges in the beginning that Procter & Gamble is known as a fairly conservative company. He noted that this conservative attitude had the potential to smother creativity and unduly delay innovation, and that's right on. A lot of people have said that both internally and externally to the company. And while I haven't worked there for a good number of years, I wouldn't be surprised if they were saying it today based upon what I see. On the other hand, P&G is known for fundamentally high-quality business practices. I learned business from them. I am deeply, deeply grateful to the business best practices that I learned from them. He thought that these quality business practices served as a strong foundation, but, quote, only if we can create the right climate for ideas to grow into inventions, close quote. He went on to say, quote, the world, including, importantly, society, consumers, and business, is changing at an ever-increasing pace. This is 30 years ago. To win, we must also change, and are. Close quote. His goal, he said, is, quote, to achieve a healthy record of innovative home runs over the ensuing years, close quote. So what I really admire here is he's recognizing the conditions that he's faced with, some of the conservative aspects of Procter & Gamble, along with the great business fundamentals, and he's aiming high. He's aiming for home runs. So here are the 6 actions he said that they needed to do to be more innovative. They needed to create a, quote, proactively supportive, open, smart, risk-taking environment. Says a lot in that phrase. This would probably require behavior changes up and down the organization. And in this, he had a quote from Edison, which I loved. And the quote from Edison is, quote, I failed my way to success, close quote. I love that. Indicated that failures needed to be a source of learning that would produce future winners. For those of you that have been listening to these episodes, you know that I'm absolutely right on this. Failures are good if they teach you things and you learn from them so that you can produce future winners from those learnings. The second point he made of the 6 is increased innovation required people to have time for creative work. And he suggested that more senior people needed to delegate routine tasks to more junior people. Third, his advice to leaders, quote, become known as champions of creativity, close quote. That's pretty cool. I love that. Show how ideas are transformed into innovations. Make creative coaching a part of your leadership style. Fourth, need to diversify business understanding and insights. Look outside your business for business methods and technology. Seek to deeply understand markets, accounts, competitors, and how other top innovative companies are so effective. Create an easy flow of ideas within your organization. Have an open door policy and manage by walking around to create new, spontaneous conversations. Good advice. Good advice 30 years ago, great advice today. Fifth, improve your innovation techniques by studying the most successful P&G businesses, and even more broadly, by studying companies best known for successful innovation. He said, quote, recognize that innovation is importantly fueled by the stimulation which comes from a broad base of experiences, activities, reading, and arts, close quote. He went on to say, quote, proactively work at becoming Renaissance people, close quote. There's a lot to be said here. It is fueled by stimulation based on broad experience and activities. It's the diversity of these that can really provide combustible collaboration, as I've come to call it, among people. So some very good advice here. Sixth, reward creative people equally as good as management people. That may sound rather common sense, but it was at the time a very big change at Procter & Gamble. And he went on to say, this rewarding creative people as much as good management people, he said, quote, this could well involve a fundamental change in our appraisal and remuneration system. So be it, he said. If it's right by our people and the corporation, we will, close quote. Well, he also shared some key initial steps that he thought were important in the creative process. He said you need to become aware that there's a problem that requires a solution. Gather all the relevant facts that might be necessary to solve the problem, and create what he said was, quote, simple, clear articulation of the problem/opportunity, close quote. I love the simple and clear, because sometimes I've seen articulations of problems that go on and on and on, and you go, okay, what is the real problem here? He went on to say, around idea generation, explore a wide range of potential solutions, going all the way to, open quote, think of all conceivable alternatives regardless of how far-fetched, close quote. For those of you that have been listening to the podcast, you know I have one in which in one of the episodes is titled Wild and Wacky Ideas, and in that episode I talk how important they are at getting to the really big ideas. The evaluation and selection process, he said, pay particular attention to ideas that are, quote, wild ones, close quote. A lot of wisdom there. There may be a kernel of practical big idea creativity in these ideas. There always are in the wild and wacky, far-fetched, wild ideas. There's always a kernel of inspiration and value in that. And sometimes it goes far beyond just a kernel. There is actually, if you just take a moment and reflect on the wild and wacky idea, you go, this may not be so wild and wacky after all. Look for opportunities to combine and change ideas in the evaluation and selection process. He goes on to say about idea generation, quote, it has been my experience that the evaluative process is best done several times at several day intervals so that the mind has the opportunity to absorb, retain, and judge ideas, close quote. Good advice here. The most important focus for an idea, open quote, benefits to the person of your idea. Find a simple and clear way to express those benefits to that person, close quote. Now, if you go back to the several episodes I've done on Merwin technology and the importance of benefit communication, simple, clear, and specific, here he is talking about it 30 years ago and hit the nail right on the head. So, here's some of my concluding thoughts. He called for increased diversity, a major need for a company that could be as insular as Procter & Gamble is. From previous episodes, we know the critical importance of diversity in the innovation process. Next, his recognition of ideas he called wild ones recall the great importance I placed on creating an environment where wild and wacky ideas could prosper. You need them. If you don't, you're going to get small ideas. You need to be able to go out to the wild and wacky range. Risk-taking and champions of creativity, two ideas that he put forth, are two critical innovation mindsets that I really applaud. If you're interested in more innovation best practices, we've got them for you. You just need to go to the I2GE, that's letter I, number 2, GE.com website. On the menu bar on the left-hand side, click on DIY Innovation Training. A whole bunch of training programs will pop up. If you don't find one that exactly meets your needs, email me and we'll be glad to tailor one exactly to your needs. Also, one of my 6 books is titled Proven Practical Innovation That Delivers Results. That kind of hits the nail on the head for me. Proven and practical, and it's got to deliver results. It's a book that's available only at Amazon in paperback and Kindle. It's value priced below my break-even cost. So, a heck of a value. If you have suggestions, comments, or requests, I love hearing from listeners. Just email me at richard@i2ge.com. I look forward to hearing from you. In the next episode, it's going to be one of the most interesting episodes we've done. It actually has a label on it called Must Listen. It's an interview with Adam Orlovsky, and he's a champion of adaptive innovation. And it is an absolutely amazing interview. When you listen to it, you'll find at the end, I tell Adam, boy, you blew my socks off. This is a must-listen interview. So it's a very informative interview, and I hope you'll join us in the next episode. As all of you know, I'm deeply appreciative of you taking time out of your busy day to spend it with me. I look forward to reconnecting with you soon, and until then, please have a great day.